30 days into the Trump presidency and everything's going into chaos. Sad. Just sad.
Coming to paperback and e-readers, Esteem Season of the Witch Girl. The aspiring angel takes on a wicked teenage witch in this action-packed all-new Esteem series adventure. Pre-order your copy of Esteem Season of the Witch Girl at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, 1987. Learn lessons about life and teenage love in the 1980s in this coming-of-age John Haynes story. Get your copy of John Haynes 1987 in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue.
Could Elon Musk wind up derailing the Trump presidency? Now, over the course of the last month, Elon Musk has been making a campaign to wage war against federal workers. And as he's been going on this campaign with his private organization, the Department of Government Efficiency, Elon Musk has been going out here looking to go after U.S. government workers. And as he's been going after government workers with things like an email that he sent over the weekend asking people to present 5 bullet points of things that they did on the job or be fired, he has wound up making a lot of government workers upset. And as he's made many of these government workers upset, he really isn't looking at the big picture regarding the subtle politics transpiring around the Trump presidency. Now, Donald Trump's whole campaign as related to president started with his inauguration, and on that inauguration day, he looked to go out here and sign several executive orders towards looking to try to streamline the government and looking to make it smaller and make it more efficient. Unfortunately, many of the approaches that Donald Trump and Elon Musk have been utilizing are not really going over too well with many of the base of Trump supporters, and that could do long-term damage to the overall image of the Trump presidency and basically wind up doing long-term damage to the Republican Party. Now, Donald Trump basically has presented Elon Musk as this head of Department of Government Efficiency. Unfortunately, he's not really taking a critical look at the optics regarding the subtle politics transpiring around him. Now, Elon Musk, basically, as he's been out here, he's looking more like he's speaking for the president, and the president isn't looking like he's speaking for himself, and that really is creating a foundation as related to a crisis as related to leadership. Now, when it comes to this whole situation, it's really showing me that is Donald Trump in charge, and is he running the country, or is he allowing Elon Musk to be the one that runs the country? That's a critical question I have to ask, because it really takes me back to Gordon Ramsay and what he said during an episode of Hell's Kitchen, where he said, either you run the kitchen or the kitchen runs you. And it's looking to me like possibly Donald Trump isn't running the country, but he's letting Elon Musk run the country because he's the one doing all the talking, and a good leader is the one who presents themselves as the one in charge, and presents themselves as the one in charge because when you have a guy speaking for you, that's basically you coming from a position of weakness. And that's what Donald Trump isn't seeing as related to his optics. He's not seeing how he's coming from a position of weakness, with Elon Musk going out here making statements that are very inflammatory to America's voters and even more inflammatory to his base. Now, when it comes to politics, you want to go out here and try to appease your base because your base is how you're going to go out here and be able to get support for your agenda. Moreover, your base is the one that you're going to need in order to maintain your political position of power as you look to go out here and get re-election. Unfortunately, when it comes to Donald Trump, he's not really looking at the damage that Elon Musk is doing to his optics as related to his base. And the actions that Elon Musk is taking are basically doing long-term damage to his base, because as he looks to attack government workers, he's not looking at the big picture, in that many of these government workers are American citizens. Now, Elon Musk in and of himself is not an American citizen, and since he's not an American citizen, he really isn't concerned with the impact of his actions. No, Doge is a private organization, but that private organization has an impact on the public administration of American workers. Moreover, that whole organization is taking actions that's going out here and alienating those workers who are American citizens, and many of those American citizens are ones who voted for Donald Trump in the 2024 election. And sadly, Elon Musk is so caught up in his power, he can't really see how he's doing damage to his whole campaign, with this campaign to Donald Trump's base. He can't see the damage that he's doing to his base by going out here and doing very unethical things, like the email that he sent last Saturday to people who were government workers, telling them to list 5 bullet points of things that they did during the week. Now, Elon Musk basically did this saying that it was a test to see if people would respond. However, that whole statement, I believe, is complete BS. No, what he's participating in is behavior I've seen black women participate in when they get belligerent and emotional, where they go out here and pull a crap test to see how people would react. Unfortunately, this type of test, all it does is create panic and chaos in people and destabilizes people. And again, this destabilization of people, this is not something you want to do as a political official, because this, one, winds up going out here and destroys worker morale. 2, does not go out here and build trust. 3, does not go out here and encourage people to believe that you are acting in their best interest, because this email that he sent last Saturday, again, showed complete unethical behavior. Unethical behavior to say people needed to list these 5 bullet points or be fired. I mean, this type of behavior in and of itself is unethical, and according to federal law is illegal, and is just again showing how Elon Musk is basically undermining Donald Trump as related to his leadership, and also doing damage to the goodwill that Donald Trump said that he wanted to get as related to, again, turning America around. I mean, that goodwill is being damaged, and this is shown by many Republicans who are at town halls getting yelled at by their constituents who said that they basically voted for Donald Trump because they wanted to see things done about inflation and things done as related to getting the price of groceries down. However, Donald Trump's, not reining in Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, is basically going out here and doing optical damage to Donald Trump only 36 days into his presidency. Only 36 days into his presidency, it's doing damage to his optics, because his approval rating has gone into a state of decline. And as it's gone into a state of decline, many people are now having second thoughts about electing Donald Trump, because instead of Donald Trump running the country, he's basically letting Elon Musk run it for him. And that basically, again, is not a good look for Donald Trump, because when Elon Musk is running things, he's basically creating chaos no different than what I saw in junior high school in the 1980s when I was being bullied. And when I was being bullied, basically what I had run into were people who, again, looked like they were on my side and would go out here and look to encourage me to go out here and fight people. Unfortunately, when I went out here and did this, it wound up getting me jammed up as related to a situation where I almost got arrested over a comic book. And the situation here is very similar to what I've experienced, because, again, Elon Musk is looking like that kid who basically eggs a kid on to go out here and get into a situation by supporting them. But that support is passive aggressive, and passive in that they're supporting you, aggressive that they're looking to get you to participate in actions that are detrimental to you by making you believe that you're going to be able to take power. However, the irony is that you're not seeing the power you're giving someone else. And since you can't see the power you're giving someone else, you don't see how you acting in this way is going to get you jammed up until you wind up in that fight, security takes you away, and then you're in the principal's office trying to explain that somebody else told you to do this, and that same person who told you to do this is the one saying they didn't tell you to do anything at all. And then as you are the one getting suspended, you're the one who's out of school for several days, and as you're out of school for several days, this guy is basically out here talking a lot of shit about you, talking about how stupid you are and how dumb you are. And that's the way I see Elon Musk. Basically a guy looking to, again, go out here and set Donald Trump up to fail, and he can't really see the big picture because he can't see the subtle politics transpiring around him. And since he can't see the subtle politics transpiring around him, he can't see that this whole campaign to go after government workers is not a smart one. No, going after government workers is not a smart idea, because, again, many of those government workers, once again, are American citizens, and with them being American citizens, they basically have the right to vote. And many of those people who look to vote for Donald Trump are now seeing and regretting that choice. And as they regret that choice, that may have a major detrimental impact to Republicans. It may have a major detrimental impact to Republicans because, again, yes, they have a majority in the House and the Senate, and that majority in the House is razor thin. And again, going out here and alienating many of these constituents who are government workers and waging this campaign against American citizens is one thing that could possibly lead to that majority falling completely apart. And it'll lead to it falling completely apart in 2026, and that could do, again, damage to the entire Republican agenda, an agenda that hasn't even gotten started in 30 days, all because Elon Musk basically is caught up in a power trip over government workers with his Department of Government Efficiency, and a department that's basically making an inefficient case for the overall Republican Party and could possibly do long-term damage to the Republican Party, which finally did get its majority and did get a platform. Unfortunately, that whole platform is falling completely apart because Elon Musk, again, a man who is not a citizen, wants to dictate the government of the United States of America, looking to use an approach that was possibly used in other countries like Argentina, where they tore apart the country and looked to build it back up, not understanding that the economic system of that country is completely different. And when it comes to America, the damage that could be done could take decades to reverse. Now, when it comes down to, again, this whole campaign, not only against government workers, what could happen here is, because we've got this inflation, is laying off all these workers could trigger a recession, and trigger a recession that may be nigh impossible to repair, because when it comes down to the government, in the Great Depression. Now, during the Great Depression, the entire government was needed to basically shore up the economy, and shore up the economy because of the excesses of the wealthy who went out here speculating and buying stocks on margin. And as they went out here speculating and buying stocks on margin, they basically led to the stock market crash of 1929, and that was because of the excesses of the wealthy. And we're in a similar pattern because we have a billionaire in Elon Musk, again, participating in similar excesses, and those excesses could wind up doing damage to the overall economy, and there may not be any government workers to be able to provide services because Elon Musk looks to efficiently get rid of those workers, not understanding how they all have a connection to the economy. And these decisions by Elon Musk are basically, people are looking at him with a side eye now. You have many in the Republican Party and Trump's cabinet looking at this man and looking at how his Department of Government efficiency is causing chaos, and again could possibly cost Republicans their majority because, again, we have the 2026 midterms coming up, and with the 2026 midterms coming up, the entire whole platform of Donald Trump could wind up derailed if Elon Musk doesn't back off and understand that you cannot go out here and attack government workers, because an attack on government workers is an attack on the American people, and an attack on the American people by someone who is not a citizen and going out here advising the president is not an optical good look for Donald Trump. No, is not an optical good look for a man who said he wanted to make America great again by supporting a man who's making a mess, making terroristic threats, making personal attacks on government workers, making attacks on everyday men and women all across the country who in red states are feeling this pain. Many of these people who were voters who voted for him, again, are feeling this pain. And if you trigger a recession, this could, again, get further long-term damage. That's not what Donald Trump is really thinking about critically as related to this situation. No, he's not thinking critically at all. No, he's hopped up on power, and again, hopped up on power to the point where he's getting his head gassed up by Elon Musk. And these decisions by Donald Trump to let Elon Musk run the country instead of him running the country, because he doubles down on many of Elon Musk's statements and has him standing behind him. Again, he's not seeing how this is making him look weak optically and making the country look weak overall, because again, when it comes to these government workers, again, these were the people who voted for you, and again, if those people feel betrayed, like many of the other groups out here, and feel betrayed, the Trump presidency may end in an ignominious fashion similar to that of Richard Nixon, or I dare to say King John. Now, when it came to King John basically continued to maintain his agenda as related to the Crusades, and was continuing to wage these crusades against Muslims as related to converting them to Christianity, even though England was suffering. Eventually people got tired of suffering as related to this moral crusade, and eventually what happened with King John was that many of those people, again, in England, eventually went out here and created the Magna Carta. And as they created the Magna Carta, this document was designed to start to limit the power of the king, and limit the power of the king because he wasn't looking out for the best interest of the people. And eventually what happened was those people came together and confronted King John and made him sign this Magna Carta. They forced him to sign the Magna Carta, limiting his power, because either his choice was either have his power limited or have his power taken from him. That was the option for King John, and sadly President Trump, who once declared himself a king as related to congestion pricing, may wind up in the same situation with the Republican Party, who is still trying to maintain their power base that they recently regained. And again, in order for them to maintain their power base, they may have to rein in Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And again, they may have to rein in these individuals because the chaos they are creating is creating chaos with their constituents, and those constituents may be thinking about considering another candidate, maybe an independent at this point. Again, this is where Donald Trump doesn't see the big picture regarding the subtle politics transpiring around him, because again, going after the American people is not how you make America great. It's not the government workers that are the problem. No, that's something that was presented by many conspiracy theorists on platforms like 4chan and Reddit, where it seems like Elon Musk and Donald Trump are getting their misinformation from these conspiracy theorists. And these conspiracy theorists are basically taking the country down to a rabbit hole, into an abyss. Again, an abyss because their misinformation is not really having us go down a road where we're saying a clear direction. No, we're not seeing a clear direction because with many conspiracy theorists and speculators, they speculate on chaos because the misinformation that they read online is basically filled with lies. And again, filled with lies because you're not getting actual facts, not getting actual information. And when it comes down to misinformation, that's the full foundation of what everything is related to Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency. Again, he's not really looking like a leader. No, it's looking like he's basically misleading the country the same way he's misled X into being, because he overpaid for it, and now it's basically a dying company. Yes, he replaced a lot of people and it runs, but it doesn't run very well as related to having good information. No, like Tesla, which is falling apart due to the failure of the Cybertruck, which again overpriced. Again, you have a man who can't run his own business and again wants to get in America's business, and sadly it's looking like he's running America's business straight into the ground, the same way he ran X and Tesla into the ground, because he doesn't know how to lead and bring people together. No, he makes threats and scares people, and again, that's not leadership. No, that's not leadership at all, and it's a bad direction for the United States of America when you have two men who basically don't know how to leading the country. And again, they talk a good game, similar to the cream of wheat man, Eric Adams, and tell people what they want to hear, but doesn't go out here and present the facts as related to things, because their whole picture of reality is completely distorted. And that's what the Republican Party built its platform on, but that platform may not maintain its power, because there's only so far you can go with chaos before chaos eventually leads to ruin. Now, if you want to pick up some of my books on the SJS Direct Imprint, you can find those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos taking people to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA from the Black Boule in this action-packed all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.